conflict resolution. It's one of the critical skills you need to have as an HR professional in 2024. So, three things: identify and understand the conflict. Number two, you need to be able to facilitate open and constructive communication. Number three, you need to be able to develop and implement solutions. Let's break some of those down. So, identify and understand the conflict. First thing you need to do is you need to analyze the situation. So, what does that mean? You need to understand, what are the root causes? What made the conflict happen? Was it really the subject that we're talking about? Was it really that? Or was it some type of conflict that happened years ago between these two people? The next thing you need to do is you need to clarify positions, meaning you need to seek to understand the perspectives and concerns of each party holding that individual discussion. Okay. So, next thing, number two, it was facilitate open and constructive communication. So, how do you do that? You want to create a conducive environment. You don't want to have somebody in a closed corner situation. You don't want to do it right there on the job site. You want to give people a chance to have a cool off period, right? Maybe take them to a neutral site. Don't do it in somebody's office. Don't do it on their grounds. Take it to a neutral site, perhaps even your office if you have one. The other piece is active listening and effective questioning. What does that mean? It means you're asking them the questions that allow them to express themselves. Some people may not feel comfortable airing out their actual feelings. And it's up to you as the HR person to ask the right questions to not only keep them safe, but allow them to feel comfortable answering it on their terms, right? You don't want to have objection leading the witness. The next piece is develop and implement solutions. So, all right, so we need to have somebody facilitate a brainstorming and negotiation section, right? So with the brainstorming piece, maybe asking questions like, hey, what do you agree with so far in this conflict? You agree there's a problem, right? Okay, great. So since we both agree that there is a problem, what's the solution you find ideal? And then make sure you're taking note. What are the two things that are most important to you? What's one thing that's a non-negotiable in this situation? Right? And then ask the other party, what's their non-negotiable? And see, where are the similarities? Where's the common thread? Then the next piece is creating an action plan. How do you actually create a plan that will help them implement and keep them accountable to what they said they would agree to? Right. And that's where you can really play an effective role, because when people have heated arguments, there's conflict. A lot of times they don't want to be accountable to that person. And sometimes emotions can allow them to skirt away from their responsibility or even keeping their word, which sometimes that might actually be the whole problem in the first place. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about conflict resolutions. Those are the top three things that we recommend or that I look at, which is identify and understanding the conflict, facilitate open and constructive communication, and then creating and developing a solution and how you're going to implement it. Hope that was helpful for you, and we'll chat more on these items later.